Shri Sanjay Pant, sir, who is the Deputy Director General at BIS Headquarters, New Delhi. He has over 35 years of experience as a scientific officer. He has authored numerous papers and delivered lectures. He has also been awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Fire and Security Association. He is a distinguished alumnus from MNIT Jaipur. Please, Shri Sanjay Pant, sir, give us your keynote address.
Thank you, Madhuji. First of all, Shri M.V. Deshmukh ji, Chairman of Fire Safe India Foundation, Shri Santosh Warik ji, Director Maharashtra Fire Services, Kiran Hatyal ji, Assistant Director Maharashtra Fire Service, Shri Abhishek Chavda ji, Director FCIA, my colleague Arun Kumar, Shri Malu, all the more than 200 participants who have joined this webinar so far, and the number is increasing. First of all, a warm welcome from Bureau of Indian Standards and Fire Safe India Foundation, the two organizations who have joined hand today to organize this webinar on the role of passive fire protection in commercial buildings and healthcare. As you all know, the center of attention in terms of building conceptualization, planning, design, execution, operation, maintenance, and continued utilization of the building facilities is the National Building Code of India. Being from Bureau of Indian Standards, I am very proud to mention that this role has been taken up by BIS to provide the basic framework of guidelines and codes of practices and the provisions for fire safe building materials by BIS in terms of the entire gamut of building conceptualization, planning, design, construction, operation, maintenance, and even building performance tracking. And I would say that in the process, BIS has formulated more than 22,000 Indian standards and some of the special publications like National Building Code of India, which is a special publication SP7. And these standards that BIS has formulated encompass various aspects like the product standards. Out of 22,000 standards, around 44% standards pertain to products, and another similar number is on codes of practices and test methodologies. These standards provide the basic framework of the quality ecosystem that we should have in the country. Out of these, I can say around 2,500 standards directly pertain to built environment. So we have formulated Indian standards for various kinds of building materials. That is the various types of cements, concrete, aggregate, steel reinforcement, plumbing products, gypsum-based products, lime-based products, flooring material, walling material, and roofing material, and the various kind of the facilities and the five, including the methodology for testing of against these products. So the test methodologies to ensure conformity of quality of these materials, as well as the codes of practices, how various manufacturing is to be done, laying is to be done, erection is to be done, and then even demolition of the building has to be done safely. A very important point has been raised by Mr. Deshmukh in terms of giving emphasis on fire safety through passive that is through constructional means, through planning and conceptualization. And he has also mentioned a very important aspect is, can we have sustainability without safety? And therefore, I personally have also developed a sustainability model, and the National Building Code in its part 11 is approach to sustainability. Uh, these highly sustainability actually refers to the entire gamut. When we plan the built environment, uh, we start with the development of a project. And the project, first of all, there is a land parcel which is available. When we ensure that the we need to ensure that the existing flora and fauna should remain intact, existing lakes, the city, the hydrological system, the drainage pattern should not be disturbed. Similarly, one of the important aspects, as Mr. Deshmukh pointed out, sustainability, safety is one of the most important aspect of sustainability. If a building is not safe, it is not durable, it is not safe against structural safety or fire safety or public safety or safety by the occupants in any way, including in terms of indoor air quality, health and hygiene, it doesn't serve the purpose of sustainability. Coming pointedly to the provisions of the National Building Code, as I say, the National Building Code was formulated in the year 1970 and was subsequently revised at the instance of Planning Commission, the then Planning Commission, now called Niti Aayog, and it was then revised in 1983. That was the first revision. Thereafter, in 97, an amendment was brought out to Part 4. The Part 4 of NBC is Fire and Life Safety, and this was earlier called as Fire Protection. This Fire Protection Part 4 was revised as Amendment number 3 to NBC 1983. That is the journey. And after that, we had brought out NBC 2005 and finally NBC 2016. To NBC 2016 also, there are amendments, one amendment which pertains to fire safety aspects, that is Part 4. So this is the journey of what? Coming to the entire gamut of in the year 2005, when I remember, while discussing the various provisions in NBC 1983 and amendment thereto in 97, the various provisions were intermingled in the entire NBC. In 2005 version, we decided to reclassify the entire provisions of National Building Code Part 4, Fire and Life Safety. First of all, in place of fire protection, we start calling it fire and life safety. That is fire safety and life safety on account of the instances of fire. That's number one. Secondly, we trifurcated the entire provision into fire prevention, life safety, and fire protection. And the fire prevention aspects, first of all, we decided to review and have a relook at the building classification. As you know, the entire buildings have been classified into 9 groups of building. Group A, residential; B, educational; C, institutional; D, assembly; E, business; F, mercantile; G, industrial; H, hazardous; and J, storage. And these have been further subclassified. And out of these, the uh, two particular occupancies of healthcare and commercial are the focus of attention today, for ensuring, for seeing that how best passive fire protection system can be can be taken cognizance of in ensuring to large extent the fire safety requirements. So the health care buildings that we are talking today is part of the institutional building, and commercial building is part of the group F, mercantile building. And as I mentioned, the NBC now in 2005 version and as well as in 2016 version now deals, it has got a scope which classifies as to which uh, which types of building and which extent of spread of building in terms of height and horizontal spread and basements even attract the provisions of NBC Part 4. That is because NBC is currently under revision. So I take this opportunity also making a mention of some of these concepts, to see your intervention as to how NBC should now be looked at in terms of the newer kind of buildings, data center, and complex type of structure which are coming in the country. So, as I mentioned, clause 1 deals with the scope where all these which kind of building or complexities of buildings or types of buildings should attract the provisions of NBC Part 4, uh, and what should happen to all other buildings which are said to be less vulnerable or non-vulnerable, because some kind of vulnerability is there on all building, even the smallest ones. So how to deal with that? That will remain the question. Clause 2 then deal with various kinds of terminology. In this particular revision of NBC that we have taken up, uh, we will have to find out more terms, because the education or the language of the building professionals or fire professionals is the kind of terminology that we use, and the way we understand these terminology. So we intend to introduce more terms, better clarity in the terminology and their explanation, and more sketches and illustrations. I would like this NBC, which is currently under revision, to be a more educative material, apart from the regulatory material, because we want this profession to thrive, because we have seen the result of non-implementation of provisions of NBC. If we simply say in legalistic terms various provisions in NBC and expect these to be, scrupulously implemented, I think we'll be wrong. So it needs. I have with more than 35 of years of my experience in BIS, what I have understood that the codes of practices, the special publication, the building code, uh, these need to be at the same time a little educative material also. Either we should publish a separate commentary on clause-wise commentary, or the same code should be more explicit in terms of to avoid ambiguity, to avoid any kind of misinterpretation or dual interpretation. So this is what we are going to do this time further beyond what we have already done. That is the clause on terminology. Clause 3, as I mentioned, the larger perspective was trifurcated. So the first clause 3 is fire prevention. What Mr. Deshmukh has said, that the cost implication today, a lot of communications come to us that if you try to make buildings fire safe as per NBC, the cost gets substantially escalated, and this is the worry. And the professionals, some of the consultants, maybe, or even the building owner, they try to find way out how they can bypass the provisions of NBC. So, is it possible to not escalate the cost? And I understand from what Mr. Deshmukh has mentioned today that this is very much doable. Rather than insisting on fire fighting and fire protection and portable and first aid and fixed firefighting installation, if we start concentrating on passive protection systems more, our load on firefighting installations would decrease. The buildings will become inherently safe uh, by its design itself, and therefore this is a very important webinar that we are debating today, how to address the building itself conceptually, and in its planning and design itself is rendered safe. It has adequate number of exits, the fire retardants of the fire retardant rating of the built facility itself, the finishes itself is taken care of, rather than first installing highly vulnerable finishes and then adding to a large load of fire protection systems over it. So that is there. uh, and in fire protection, we have four types, apart from classifying the building into 9 groups and their sub classification into various groups. We have what we have really done is we have classified the buildings from constructional point of view, fire retardant rating point of view, into type 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Type 1 being the highest fire retardant rated building, which or by the combination of various components, whether it is flooring or roof slab or walls or columns and beams and structural components, their individual rating set results in classifying as to whether it is type 1 in combination, type 2 or type 3, type 4. Type 1 being the most fire retarded rated or more fire safe installations. So this is one thing, a part of the passive. We should not make it vulnerable, inherently vulnerable. So what can be done by using inherently fire retardant rated materials, which fire safe material? Some, for example, traditional construction materials used to be like that. And if we have to use certain kind of finishes or certain kind of material, how to make them fire retardant by using uh, certain applications over it. So that is the first part of it. And we need a lot of data. Actually, fire, a lot of new materials are coming every day. So can we have more data into this? A lot of laboratory. I will request Mr. Abhishek Chabra ji. There is a lot of testing exposure and experience. So can we have more data? Can we have data with certain confidence, where we can guide? Uh, and another area is the either the structural material as well as finishing material. So this is briefly the fire prevention aspect. Then coming to life safety, which is another aspect of passive fire protection, is again divided in the code into exit access, exit and exit discharge. So exit access, that is the area where we actually work and perform the functional area, from where we go to exit. So access to exit is called exit access. In the exit access, we need to perform the activities which have to be done, whether it is a school or college or hospital. So we cannot tamper with the basic functional requirement. It may require certain kind of materials or chemicals, or commercial activity which are inherently fire vulnerable. But then if exit access, if it facilitates the design in a fashion that we have the right exit access, timely evacuation and guidance for evacuation. So this is another exit access. When we come to exit, then it is to our fire rated, including various fire doors. So we have revised our standard 3614 on fire doors, and it is already gone into certification. And as well, I was talking on product standard, is one of the product standards, and it is BIS certified. Doors are now available. Some 6 or 7 manufacturers have already got BIS certification. Now you can have, you can demand BIS certified fire doors and for installation in the respective premises. So this is another kind of thing. So I will say demand more and more BIS certified products, and any complaints can be then referred to BIS for its redressal. And that is exit. And when we come from exit, which are primarily staircase, and then we, of course, we have firefighting shaft, which is called also fire tower, and then we go to exit discharge. So the entire combination of the fire prevention and life safety, including exit access, exit and exit discharge, should be well conceptualized, planned and designed. As rightly pointed out by Mr. Deshmukh, we cannot do much after the entire premises has been erected, and therefore this dissemination of knowledge and conceptualization, training of architects and engineers, associating fire professionals in the process, so that they at the time of planning itself, it is vetted, and the time of design also it is vetted, and before execution, final execution, it is taken care of. So our objective of passive fire protection can be duly met. And I would at this stage only and then I will, before concluding, I would say the next clauses which we are not concentrating now is after clause 3 on fire prevention, 4 on life safety, and 5 is on fire protection or firefighting, where we have that famous table 7 on fire portable for first aid and firefighting installation, with a lot of fight on water demand and all those things there. So that is not a subject of discussion today, so I'll not broach that topic today. Then comes the clause 6 on additional occupancy wise requirement for fire prevention, for life safety and fire protection. So one for both commercial buildings as well as healthcare building, one should go through for passive fire protection the clause 3, clause 4 as well as clause 6 for the institutional building for healthcare building, on for mercantile building for commercial building. So that is my thing. And there are a series of annexures in the code after we exhaust clause 1 to 6, as I explained. The entire framework of the part 4 fire and life safety of NBC 2016, we have special annexures where we deal with high-rise buildings, atrium, commercial kitchen, and multi-level car parking, as well as metroways and metro stations. And so, as the case may be, even those have to be read along with the provision of this. This is what NBC. But at the end, while once again congratulating uh, the Fire Safe India Foundation, led by Shri M.V. Deshmukh ji and Warik Saab and Hatyal ji, and that you have all joined hands with BIS in organizing this very important webinar. Already 217 participants have joined this event. It will be possible to send across the message, and I would request that these can be uh, organized from time to time on different type of occupancy type. That's number 2. And finally, I say, would like to mention that NBC is again under revision. We intend to bring out NBC 2025 or 26, whichever is possible. And currently, preliminary draft are under preparation, are being issued. Shortly, we would also be issuing the wide circulation draft for public comments. And all of you should keep on looking at BIS website for the various documents being launched. We can also mail all these documents to you. We have a specialized panel under National Building Code. There are 22 panels. National Building Code is a 2,250 page document encompassing 13 chapters, part 0 and part 1 to 12. And there are subsections there under in each many of the chapters. So 33 chapters in all. And one of the 33 chapters is part 4 fire and life safety. There is a dedicated panel and 3 working groups who are revising this day in day out, and we hope to present to the nation a very comprehensive and mature code with lot of illustrations detailing out these I think we will be able to give justice to passive fire protection further in this particular revision. Get associated with BIS, write to BIS with your suggestion, and we would be very happy to take into account your suggestion. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me to this event. Thank you. See why we are working so hard. We are trying to create standards which are needed for the country. There may be standards which we might not have deliberately created, modified. So who would decide which is the best standard? So therefore, National Building Code has dovetailed the information available in the standards and given a cogent uh, provisions on National Building Code Part 4, drawing from various standards and even beyond standards, and we have created a system. We have not only created this National Building Code and we are periodically revising it, we have the support of the parallel standards, Indian standards, which are part and parcel of NBC and cross-referred in the NBC. NBC says that this is a continuous process. May please follow the latest standards. These are subject to revision. So NBC also says that, and then there are these standards. Some of the product standards are amenable to certification. So certified products, whether it is for fixed firefighting installation or first aid firefighting equipment or for construction materials, all these are available with BIS certification. So even that facility is available. You need not test yourself. And each of these materials, these are already tested, verified, and certified also. The National Building Code also says that for materials and technologies for which standards are not available, the concerned authority can approve additional materials and technologies also in their wisdom. And once these standards are developed, then they can then revert to the standards. And there are institutions like Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs, organization, the Building Materials and Technology Promotion Council, that is BMTPC, which runs a PAX, Performance Appraisal Certification Scheme, for materials and technology for which Indian standards are not available. So that is another option that can be utilized. Second thing is that should we have checklists, softwares, design aids? Once we have formulated NBC as a special publication, the institutions Fire Safe India Foundation and other such institutions who are working, who are strong technocrat based, they should create uh, the necessary tools, because again they are the same technical people who are also representing BIS company. So let BIS keep on producing, revising, amending, updating standards and national building code. These supporting tools can be created. For example, I will say BIS has created the design code IS 456, the concrete design code. But in the market, there are very good softwares are available, which, if used, will ensure compliance to IS 456. So there is no harm the multiple bodies producing such design aids, softwares, expert systems, explanatory publications, and these institutions, one of the jobs of such professional institutions should be to publish such special publications and design aids and commentary, which should be at the service of the professionals they can use and utilize. Another thing I would like to mention is on training. BIS has its own training institute at Noida, and very regularly we are doing training on various parts and chapters of NBC continuously. But this is insufficient. Others should continue to do the training work they are doing, create videos, paid or whatever way, and these should support the system. One must earn out of knowledge base that they have, and support the creation of more knowledge. And if it is good, it will attract people and professionals to get trained from them. The last point I would like to mention today, and I have been telling this thing, the country badly needs a national fire research institution. All the work being done is to the limited scale. Some research is being done at CBRI Roorkee, some at IIT Gandhinagar, some in some of the institutions and labs, as Mr. Abhishek has also mentioned, and the original work is being done in their labs. But beyond that, there is no comprehensive national fire research institution. So, this August body, I would once again request Mr. Deshmukh also, uh, whether it is by CSIR or the line ministry, Ministry of Home Affairs, one national fire research institution must be created. The knowledge which is coming for development of standards or otherwise in the country for quality control purposes. In case of cement and concrete, is National Council for Cement and Building Materials. There is Central Building Research Institute for buildings and function requirements of building. For plywood, it is Indian Plywood Research Institute. It is Forest Research Institute. In the field of fire, we still do not have a national level comprehensive dedicated institution for fire research. So this could be one of the recommendation of this webinar also, that we must have at the earliest a national fire research institution. Full scale testing research should be done and this kind of comprehensive work if India badly needs, then we would not be looking for towards NFP or other courts. As we say international, we will have all international experimentation done in the country itself, and we should have our own database, strong database to support our standards. Thank you so much.